start this out by saying Bill Belichick sucks.
Hall of Fame's a fucking joke. We'll get into that after, though. Welcome back to the Hoggie Shuffle. You got Preston, host. You got co-host Robbie here.
Yo.
This is a show where we get lost in the shuffle and live in the trenches. This is episode 26. Today's one of those episodes that goes a little deeper than the stats and the box scores. And we're talking about football. We're talking about life and experiences as well, too. And I'll tell you, football, it's not just about the wins and the losses. It's about the memories you build without even realizing. It's about those friendships that start in a locker room and last a lifetime. And I'll tell you what, my closest friends, man, we all played ball together. And, 10, 12 years later, we're still good buddies. And that shows you a thing or two about type of relationships you can make in football, man. Rob's the same way with some of his closest friends.
Yeah, one of them married my sister.
Wild. Wild. Boys, I'll tell you this. One day, at the end of the day, you're showing up, same locker room, same teammates, same grind, and then one day, without warning, it's all just memories, right? And you look back at those times, you're going to wish you had a little longer. So I'll tell you right now, if you're still playing, if you're coaching still, if you're part of a team in any way, just soak it in. Because I'll tell you, football goes fast. You're part of a team one day, and the next day you're not. And I've experienced it on both sides as a coach and as a player, and it goes pretty quick.
Once you blink, I remember driving home with my son one day and just telling him, I said, buddy, don't take this for granted. I said, you're going to blink and it's all going to be over. And I said, there's never another time that's as fun as high school football. Never. There's nothing you could do for the rest of your life that will ever give you that same feeling. I mean, maybe a Super Bowl. I mean, when you're a 1%er, I don't know, but I just know for me and my experience that, once you're done, you're done. And it's a tough thing to hack.
Well, you can reclaim a little bit of that glory when you're coaching and you're still part of it. You're doing the stuff, you're reffing, anything like that when you're still part of football, man. It's so important. I mean, no one's really super excited for it, but it's going to be iconic. It's going to be one of those games where, a lot of people think the Seahawks are going to just roll them. I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game. I think, maybe the Pats sneak one in. I could see it.
Boo! Sorry for the yelling. Nobody wants to see the Patriots win another Super Bowl. Okay, nobody. Not even Patriots fans. Okay, maybe Patriots fans. Not me. Not this guy.
We're going to be spotlighting a defensive legend who changed the game. Calling out a couple of things when the league continues to get wrong. Like usual, the usual. Not refs this week, though. We're not talking about refs. That was last week before that. But this week, we're going to hold off on the refs. Maybe after the Super Bowl, we'll talk about it again. I'll tell you what, because, there's going to be something. There's going to be a controversial call. We all know it's coming. It's going to be something stupid at the end. And I'm waiting for it. And we'll talk about a couple of linemen that had pretty solid seasons this year. A couple of young bucks.
Yeah, I just went back and I picked out two of the better ones that played this season. First round overall picks. Two guys we haven't really talked about too much, so.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to admit it. One of my football kids the other day, I was talking to him, and he was saying how some of our takes didn't go so well for how the season ended up. And I'll tell you, that's why they're takes. That's why it's a matter of opinion. See what happens. We're not future tellers. We don't know the script. We don't know what's going to happen. I'll always think the Eagles are going to go as far as they can, and then they get blown out by a bunch of backups. It happens. But I'm here for it.
I'm assuming this fan was a Broncos fan?
No, it was not, actually. No.
Oh, okay.
Different guy.
Well,
but I'll tell you this, though.
He could kiss my butt, too, because the Broncos still suck.
If the Patriots do win the Super Bowl, technically, the Raiders beat them, so that would i.e. mean the Raiders would be better than the Super Bowl champ. I'm just saying. I'm saying. Like,
I mean, you guys should have beat the Patriots too, but
don't be talking about that, though. Don't put me there. Don't do me like that. Let's get into it. So we got Coach's Corner. Like I was saying, guys, football, it's more than just about the game. It's more than just about football. It teaches you things that life cannot replicate anywhere else. It teaches you how to show up when you're tired, when you're sore, when you're frustrated, and still give everything you have. And a good coach of mine taught me to just hang that at the door. I use that as a coach as well, too, now. And I think it's so important. It doesn't matter how good or bad of a day you're having. You can go out there for 2 hours, smash heads, have fun, and play ball. I mean, shoot, man, that's what life's worth living about, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Emotions aside, you know what I mean? That's the beautiful part about football is that you can hang up your whatever happened to you at the door and go out and take out all of your aggression, all of your feelings, all of your emotions, and just leave it out on the field.
Well, the next part, it teaches you about accountability. Because if you don't do your job, there's 11 guys or 12 guys on a football field. There's 9 guys, sometimes 9 men. You don't do your job, someone else pays for it. You don't make that block that running back quarterback's getting hit. You don't make that tackle, man. You're letting them rip down the field. But if everybody just does their one job, it makes a really successful poetry in motion kind of play where it's magic. And, there's no hiding on the football field. And then you look at the locker room, man. It becomes a second family. You get guys from different backgrounds, different personalities, but you're all chasing that same goal. You're chasing that championship. You're chasing that win on the week. You're chasing that hometown rivalry game. You know, there's all those things. You come together. You get the nerds. You get the jocks. You get everybody together in there, and all of a sudden you become a brotherhood. Man, I played with some of the guys that are doctors now. They're smart dudes, and I played with some dudes that huck rocks for a living. You know, they do what I'm just saying. They do whatever. I sell cars, man. They do whatever. It's such a good unity of brotherhood, man, where you stay together, you help each other out, and you learn how to communicate. You learn how to lead. You learn how to follow. You learn how to respond when things go right and when things go wrong. And you understand that when life, you know, sometimes things aren't going to go perfect, and you just keep grinding, you keep doing your thing, man. That's what it's all about, is learning all these hard lessons, man. And, you know, coaches and teammates, they shape who you become as a person too. That's a big one, man. Like, I had some really great role models when I was growing up, some really good coaching for me, and it taught me how to be who I am today. And I got to give that on to the next generation, to my nephew, to those kids, and do those things and really try to be that guy that I had when I was a kid. And, you know, the guy's sitting right here, he was a big role model for me. He really helped me shape who I am today. And, you know, they teach you the standard. Sorry?
Someone told me once young too, when I first started out in sport, and said it doesn't matter if you know the game, it doesn't matter what you know. But as long as you have a commitment to give back after you're done playing, and this goes for everybody. If somebody gave you the time of day to come out and be your coach, that means they cared about you. And they didn't just do it just to do it. That means they absolutely came out and they cared about you. Now, there's some coaches that aren't like that. They just show up to be whatevers. But, like, you got a good coach. That guy absolutely 1,000% cares about you and your well-being. So, you know, make sure you pay that forward. Make sure you give that to somebody else.
100%, man. You know, you pass those lessons on, the disciplines, the standards, the pride in doing things the right way. And the hardest part of this is one day that last practice happens and you don't even realize it in the moment. You think there'll always be one more season, one more camp, one more game, and there's not. You know, it ends. The core message, I'll tell you this right now, guys. You're going to forget the scores. You're going to forget the stats. But you will always, always remember the bus rides, the inside jokes, those late nights in the hotel rooms, and, you know, playing the game, doing those things, and that shared struggle, those hard runs you do together where you're all sweating and dying on the field, and you have, after practice, you go out and you have a cheeseburger at Wendy's with the boys. And I'll tell you, man, it's those kind of things, man, that just, it bonds you. It's a good time.
Right. You could always try to remember the wins, but you'll never remember them all. And there's those ones that are championships or just big games that'll stick out in your memory forever. But like you just said, like, football's not about the wins and losses. It's about the relationships you make and where it takes you. Like, something crazy happened to me today. My brother called me, and our nephew got a job and hasn't really worked a lot in the adult world. You know, he's just starting out. And one of his buddies that he played football with, this young man that I coached when Preston was just a little gaffer playing just pee-wee popcorn and football. He'd moved away, and then he came back, and he came and played on the same team as Preston. And somehow, through the crazy twist of time, our nephew got to work with that kid first. That man got to have our nephew in a man's world before anybody else got to have him. And I tell you, just made me cry to know that what I just said, you know, paying it forward is a real thing. Like, it's absolute real. Like, it's a real. I mean, look at this giving me. You know, coaching football at St. Joe's literally gave me my whole life. I got a wife out of the deal, you know, a daughter. I'm absolute just blessed because of football.
Love it. Right? Absolutely love it. But as a kind of that felt like a damper. I didn't mean it to feel like a damper. I'll tell you that, boys. I'll tell you, you know, it's just one of those things that just think about it. Think about those times, especially guys going to your last year, your senior year. Really soak it in. It's super important. Soak that in. We're rolling on, though. We're going forward. We're going to hit the big guy spotlight. We're getting it jacked up. We're going hard here. We're going quick. We're going fast. Hit me that. Kelvin Banks Jr. I'm going to hit the first one here.
You got the first one.
Boom. New Orleans Saints NFL. Now, we talked about this dude beginning of the season. We talked about before he got drafted, when he got drafted, how he got drafted, all that noise. He's number 71 offensive tackle for the Saints. He was 6'5", 315. He was the 9th overall pick in the draft. He played 17 games and started 17 games. Wild. So cool for a rookie to see that.
Right. And left tackle nonetheless.
Exactly. I'll tell you this right now. You want to look at some stats going on? Total snaps, boom, 1,066, most among all Saints rookies, right? And again, he's your first round pick. He's probably going to play the most snaps. That's math. He had a 73.3 PFF grade, 87.7 on the pass block, and 76.2 on the run block. I chopped those up a little bit. That's okay. It's okay because, like I said, we're rolling. We're hitting it all. Now, you got pass protection results. He did allow 5 sacks over the season. He had 3 flags.
The whole season, 17 games.
3 flags, 5 total, but 2 were declined. And you want to look at some stuff that's cool. You know, he was named to the Sports and Info Solutions All-Rookie team as a tackle. Plus, he led the Saints rookie in snaps. We talked about that. His pressures was among the better mark for all O-line rookies. He was graded well, even with minimal help on many plays, a lot of one-on-one blocks. And, you know, you want to look at his, like I said, his graded performance hovered in the low 70s for his run blocks. But I mean, indicating he's a solid work in progress guy. You know, he's a rookie, guys. He's a rookie starting in the NFL, earning his dues, playing against some of the best defensive linemen in the world. And I say some of them, they're the best D linemen in the world, but they wouldn't be in the NFL. And that's just the true stats of that, true facts of that. Love it. Kelvin Banks Jr., dog, certified a dog.
All right, next up, this other guy, I was big on him this year, Josh Conerly Jr. Washington Commanders played right tackle. Games played, 17. Games started, 17. Full-time starter, had nearly 100% of the snaps week in, week out. And different for him, he went from left guard to right guard. So, you know,
left tackle, right tackle.
Left tackle to right tackle. He didn't get to keep that spot. I'll find out why here in a second. You know, his PFF grade, a little bit lower, 59.2, you know, below average from some starting tackles, you know, typical rookie.
But again, rookie,
right?
though, rookie.
Right? He's not always going to be that, you know, 1%er, right? Sometimes you got to get there. You know, pass blocking grade a little bit better. Through week 17, he was 67.1. So, you know, tangibles improvement, you know, season progressed. He was okay. Run blocking grade slightly higher than his pass blocking grade. You know, he's definitely more consistent. And let's be honest, we throw to the left, we run to the right. It's just how it is. I did this one a little bit different. So through week 1 to week 8, he was among higher pressure rates. You know, the teams that he played, you know, they were, you know, he's playing for the Commanders, so he's playing them dogs. ADs, you know, he didn't do great against speed rush, inside counter, his hand placement was a little bit goofy in the first start. He allowed only 1 sack in the first 7 games, 13 pressures. I don't know. I think he was pretty late in the season. Final 7 games, he only allowed 1 sack and 13 pressures, so, you know, pretty decent. Impact, you know, multiple sacks against him or QB hits, so that was kind of tough. So, you know, he had a little bit lower, but let's hope for a better season for our buddy Josh Conerly Jr. next year.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. 2 absolute dogs, grinding out rookie seasons, being monsters. And again, when we go into this regular season, we're going to be over here. We're about to hop into the off season soon. And we're talking about all those dudes getting drafted in the next year. I don't know. I think that dude from Miami is going to be a unit coming in. He is an absolute monster. Can't wait to see him in the NFL. I think he's going to do great things. Number 70, that tackle for Miami, just monstrous, man. Oh, he is an absolute dog. He's going to do amazing things. We got on our hands possibly, one of the better guys coming up next year, and I think he's going to do some work. I really do. I like it. So now we're rolling into the main event here, guys. We're talking about it. We're rolling in. We only got about, 6 days left? 7 days left till the Super Bowl? 6 days?
Let's ask the real question that nobody wants to talk about, but it's on everyone's mind. Who the F is Sam Darnold?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you who Sam Darnold is. He's a guy that when he takes your team to the Super Bowl, his old team fires their GM because they realized how much they fucked up. That's who Sam Darnold is. Sam Darnold's the kind of guy that grinded through separate teams, multiple teams, trying to prove himself, finally gets into a position where he can. He gets an absolute monster in Smith and Jigba, and he is an absolute, he's doing good things. He's got a good O-line, a great running back, great receiving core. Their defense is on fire.
Just unreal.
Oh, man, they're doing such good things right now, but I'll tell you what. I don't know. They scored some points in the playoffs. I'll tell you that right now. Look at the Patriots. They were the least scoring point offense in modern era for NFL playoffs. I think they only scored 51 points going into the Super Bowl, which is pretty low.
Eagles scored that one game last year.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. But I don't know, man. I think, you look at this game, where's Vegas been doing lately? What have they been doing? They take all the money and they go, whoo, we're pulling the old bait and switch on you. And I'm not saying it's rigged. I'm not saying this or that. There's always questionable things happening in the NFL, but I don't know. I think the Pats sneak this one out. I really do. I think the Pats are going to take this game. I think it's going to be a crazy late game, touchdown and a field goal to win it. I think you're going to see something pretty crazy happen. I don't know what's going to happen exactly, but I could see it going that way. You'd be at what? 28, 35? Yeah, 37 points. I'm thinking 37 points, 38 points, 38 points. We'll call it 38, 35. Pats win with the over.
I think you're being really generous. If the Pats can stop the defense in the second half, that's the key.
But you got to think. Look at the Broncos game. Look how well their pass rush did to the Broncos. It was ridiculous. That pass rush changed the whole game. Right around the second quarter, when they decided to start pushing on Stidham, it changed the entire outcome of the game because they were rolling. That offense was rolling in the first quarter, and then everything changed once they started blitzing. Once they started rushing that pass.
Yeah, but here's the next. Hence why I'll go back to my first question, because you can't compare this guy to Jared Stidham. As soon as pressure came, Jared Stidham just pooped his pants.
I get it.
I'll tell you,
I get it.
We've seen Sam all season long absolutely take that and shit it out.
I don't know. I just think that maybe it's going to be a lower scoring game. It possibly could be. They've both got two really good defenses as well. But I think Pats take this one, man. I really do. I think they sneak one out.
I think it's going to be a really tight first half. I really do. I'm thinking like 14-14 half or 10-10 at half, something late, field goal, tied up at half. But I really think that Seahawks defense is just like the Seahawks of the past. Like they're just too deep. They're just too deep. And here's the next question. Who's stopping Smith? Najigba? Who's stopping that guy? Who's stopping him? There's not one player on the Patriots can stop that guy. Hasn't been one player. We're gonna see. No player stopped him all season.
We're gonna see. I'm just saying. I think Pat's take it. I really do. I think that all these guys thinking it's going to be a blowout are completely wrong. I think that the Seahawks they're a team. They're a solid team, man. But I don't know. I just see the AFC taking this one. I really do. And I know that's opposite to what I've been saying this whole time. I know I've been pushing on and saying the Pats are going to lose. But just there's something in the air about this game. There's just something about it where I have this feeling. Pats are taking it.
That's fair enough. My prediction for the score is going to be a little bit lower than yours. It's going to be like 23-19. Maybe 22-19. It's going to be a field goal win. It's in California. Come on. The Seahawks have never lost a Super Bowl. That was on the shitty coach. That game, I was happy. I was cheering for the Patriots. I couldn't see Richard Sherman win another Super Bowl. I was too sad. Couldn't see it.
Now,
I tell you, I am an AFC. I'm a diehard Raiders fan. And I am tired of seeing 4 teams go to the Super Bowl. Okay? Give me another team.
I'm going to tell you this, too.
Any other team.
I seen this crazy stat a while ago. I think I talked about it on here a couple months back. But this lady did the stats on this. And she was talking about teams that travel east to west, right? Because now you're going in, your timeline's getting from where it would typically be what Super Bowl going to be at 4 o'clock, usually start?
Yeah, it'll be at 4 o'clock, 3
right?
o'clock, I think.
So if you're coming all the way from New England, that's a difference of what, 3 hours? So now they're in the window, right? They're in that perfect little window where they potentially are going to be at their peak hours versus, Seahawks are coming down. They're staying in the same timeline. I don't think their hours really change at all. So there's also that you got to look at is the fact that because of the fact they're coming over, boom, that 4 o'clock's really like a 7 o'clock for them. They're going to be in that perfect prime window where they're going to be at peak athletic performance. And again, that's a random stat. That's one of those random things where this lady, like I said, it's one of those things, could be real, could be not. But I don't know. You gotta throw that in there. It's a Super Bowl, man. Anything can happen. There's magic in the air. Anything can happen.
Again, if anybody was playing the Patriots this year, I'd be cheering for anybody else.
I get it. That's our takes. That's the Super Bowl. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna bitch about it next week. I'll tell you that. Whoever wins, someone will be bitching about it. We got opposite takes.
Tom Brady's not talking too much shit for the Patriots. Let me tell you that much.
He doesn't want a Super Bowl for them because it diminishes his legacy a little bit if they get one.
He's a Raider.
He's an announcer. He'll talk whoever pays him.
He's a retired announcer. Thank you very much.
You sure?
Yeah.
He was announcing games all season.
I know, but his last game was on Fox. NFC Championship game.
Really? You don't think he's going to do the Super Bowl?
He's not doing the Super Bowl.
Oh. Who's doing the Super Bowl?
Al Michaels and what's his name?
I don't know.
I'm telling you. Better not be
I
coming.
don't know.
All right.
Legends talk. We're rolling in. We're going quick. We're hitting it all. We got a dog today. We're talking D-line. We're talking the man. We're talking Mean Joe Green. Okay? This dude was part of the Steel Curtain. He was part of a absolutely disgusting defensive line in the 70s, and he was a monster.
Gross.
So we're going to go in. We're going to talk about him. He's not just a Hall of Famer. He's the standard for interior defensive line play. He was the anchor. A unit that dominated football with the Steel Curtain. They were physical, discipline, and the intimidation for an entire decade, right? It was absolutely disgusting. His career went from 69 to 81. Technically played in 3 decades if you want to count it. Just a little bit of here, a little bit of there. But the 70s are where he dominated. All with the Steelers, okay? 81 games played, 77.5 career sacks as a D tackle. And you got to realize, career sacks were not an official stat until 1982, so there may be more. There could be less. You never know. But I'll tell you what, pretty wild to me.
Well, I bet she's got 150, 160.
You want to look at career fumble recoveries? 16. Okay, he's a 4-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, and he won the Most Valuable Player MVP award in 1972. He's one of the very few defensive linemen to ever win an MVP. He was a 10-time Pro Bowl, back when the Pro Bowl actually meant something. We're going to talk about that in a minute. He was a 4-time first-team All-Pro, and he made the 1970s All-Decade team. And you're going to ask yourself, why do those numbers matter? What are we talking about? He changed how defensive tackles were evaluated. He wasn't just a space eater. He was a game wrecker. Dominant against the run, explosive off the snap. He was strong enough to command double and triple teams. Offenses had to account for him on every snap. Protection schemes were built around stopping him. And you look at it, leadership didn't just come from his speeches. He wasn't one of those guys. He was the guy that just, came from how he played, how he practiced, how he demanded effort from everyone around him. Toughness to consistency, from setting the tone every single Sunday. He was the absolute anchor of the Steel Curtain. And you want to talk about their impact? I mean, they controlled games without needing the offense to carry them, man. That was a defensive team. They forced opponents into mistakes. They set the standard for defensive identity league-wide, and they won championships through defense, discipline, and trench dominance. And this was a defense that broke teams mentally before halftime even started.
Now, one thing you forgot to mention is that for a big portion of that career, that man had a real job outside of playing football. Not in the later part of his career, he didn't, but when, that first 10 years, that dude probably worked in the steel mill in Pittsburgh and played football. Absolute. I think he is what I would compare to a Myles Garrett. If you were to take one guy to compare Myles Garrett, it would be that guy.
Like, you put him in today's NFL, man, he's dominating. He's demanding an $80 million contract. You know what I mean? He's going to be the highest paid defensive lineman. He would be an absolute monster. It's Mean Joe Green.
How many days do you think he worked out like these guys work out?
None, because you just said he was a working man. He was a monster. He was a steel mill operator. Like, he was doing the things he needed to get done.
Could you imagine if that guy had a full off season in the gym?
Oh. That's 70s football, though, man. They were on the sidelines. You had Fred Belinkinoff for the Raiders sitting there smoking darts after playing.
I mean, John Madden just smoking calm plays.
Yeah, it was crazy time, man.
38 toss, smoking.
So we're rolling into that. We're rolling. This isn't going to be a crazy long episode. I can tell you guys just how I'm feeling with it right now. We're rolling right now. But we're going to go into the flag on the play. We got a couple on today. We got 2. One that I can tell Rob's is on my side about, and one that I think we're both in the same mindset for. So the first one I'm going to talk about right now, it's Belichick, Hall of Fame snub. I think it is absolutely ridiculous. I think this guy has 31 playoff wins. He's got 6 Super Bowls as a coach, and you're going to tell me he took the Browns to the playoffs. You're going to tell me
playoffs?
You're telling me he's not getting in the Hall of Fame first ballot? It's not even a discussion.
I'm sorry, but here's how I see it. He had 2 seasons without Brady. Didn't do shit.
Yeah, but you got to realize, man, the whole team was gone at that point.
I take that back. Let me rephrase that. Before Brady was drafted, he had 2 seasons. Made it to the playoffs. Brady comes in. Whatever, Brady's not so great. They kick a field goal, they win the game, they go back to the Super Bowl, same thing happens, blah, blah, blah. They go through this whole career of wins and losses. And was he a great coach? Yeah.
He built the team around Brady. He negotiated all the receivers, all the running backs, every player on that team. He personally negotiated one-on-one with no agents allowed. He wanted to make sure he built a program that was around his standards and his abilities. He absolutely changed the way a head coach is made. He wouldn't even let his likeness be in Madden because he knew how he was, and he wasn't playing any of that shit. Now, you're going to look at the fact that just because he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend, just because of the fact that there was a couple of slanderous things that were against him and the team during the time he was head coach, I mean, there was nothing that ever got proven. Every team did what he did, and other coaches will talk about it during the Spygate and all that stuff. Again, never got proven, and every team did it too, by the way. Deflategate. They put up 50 points on the Colts. It had nothing to do with the fact that the fucking ball was flat or not. And the other team got to use the same football. So why didn't they have the same advantages? It just, the whole idea on the whole thing of Belichick not getting in the Hall of Fame is absolutely ridiculous, absolutely wild. And if there wasn't 3 plays that happened on 3 separate Super Bowls, he has 9 Super Bowls.
It's true. But there's one thing that you're missing here. There's one key aspect of this whole situation that you're missing, and there's no fucking way Bill Belichick's getting to the Hall of Fame before Tom Brady. It ain't happening.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think it diminishes the whole Hall of Fame record to it all. I think that it waters down the Hall of Fame. It makes it so it doesn't really matter anymore. It makes me less a fan of it, I can tell you that. I know there's a lot of people out there. Jimmy Johnson had a whole charter jet flying for the celebration. He canceled that shit. He wasn't going. There's a lot of people out there that think this is an absolute joke and a travesty to the NFL, and Canton got it wrong. I think that all these people that aren't football players, that never played in the league, should not be voting for this. I think the whole voting staff should be on guys that are in the Hall of Fame. I think that's how they should do it, because it's their group and their position. I think all those guys should be able to vote. I think anyone in the Hall of Fame should get a vote, and it should go down like that. And it just, again, you can't even tell the story of the NFL without Bill Belichick. He's the most winning.
Again, if you have the same opinion as me and the way that I think, there's no possible way that you should be allowed to vote for the Hall of Fame. You shouldn't. Again, because that's just me. That's just my pride in hating that the Patriots went to 9 Super Bowls. You know, that's just my pride saying it. Does the dude deserve to be first ballot Hall of Famer? Of course he does. Absolutely 1,000%. Again, my foolish pride will tell me these other things, but again, we both know the sheer fact of the matter is nobody will do it like Bill Belichick and Tom Brady did. Nobody. It's never going to happen again.
That's about a 60-yard fucking penalty. I'm giving 4 15s. All of them for unsportsmanlike conduct and unnecessary roughness to the fucking league.
Objectionable conduct.
All of them just ridiculous.
We're getting rid of the...
I want ejections.
CEO,
I want people put up for treason, okay? I want arrests made from this. I want a full FBI investigation, okay? The Epstein files don't matter. Look into this. This is what matters.
All right, what do we got next? And this one
pisses me off. This one sucks.
Because as a young man, was so excited to be able to, at one point in my life, get on a plane, go to Hawaii, and have a reason to go. And now I don't.
They ruined it.
Because the Pro Bowl used to get played on Sundays. Now it gets played on fucking Tuesdays. And
because they know no one's going to watch it.
But you don't hear me swear very much on this show. But that's how mad I am. Because I tell you, as a young guy growing up watching the NFL in my early 20s, we still made time to have a party, sit down with the boys, drink some beers. I mean, we didn't get carried away like we got carried away at the Super Bowl, but we still watched the...
In my opinion, last good Pro Bowl was probably 2013. Truly.
It's fair enough.
You know, that was one of the last ones. It was 13 or 14 was one of the last ones in Hawaii where they actually still gave a shit. They actually still played hard. It wasn't crazy like it was back in the day, but I mean, they were still playing football. And nowadays, it's just a flag football game and a bunch of challenges. And it's just, who gives a shit? And what's gotten me is it used to be like this. It used to be you have the 2 teams in the Super Bowl, and then every other team would put their best. Always. And you'd have the best quarterbacks for AFC, best guys for NFC, the best linemen, the best linebackers. And now it's all about fame and who has the most TikTok followers, the most Instagram followers. And like, you're going to tell me, and again, I've been hyping this guy up all season. I think he's going to be good when he gets there. But there's no world where Shooter Sanders makes it to the Pro Bowl before Trevor Lawrence this year. That is absolute joke. Should Jalen Hurts be in the Pro Bowl? No, I'm an Eagles fan, and I can confidently say that there's at least 3 or 4 guys that deserve that spot over him. Like, it's absolutely wild just because he's a Jordan athlete and he has all these fans. He gets to go to the Pro Bowl and huck a ball at a flag football game. Who cares? It means nothing. What is the point anymore? Like, it's
for
absolute
views.
travesty.
Like you said, it's for views. Not even TV views. It's for fucking phone views.
That's all it is, man. It's an absolute travesty. It's so watered down. It's a joke. And the Pro Bowl is absolutely disgusting. I think the NFL ruined it. It's just a joke.
I concur with you. I'm not going to give it as many flags, but it's pretty gross. It's pretty gross. Definitely too.
It's getting at least 30 yards.
Like, you know, we just got to get a new representative for the NFL. Like, the old guys got to leave, new guys got to come in. Like, it's got to be almost time that Goodell's gone.
Like it's almost at the point where they need to do it like the NBA Cup, where they have it in the middle of the season. Now, I get the NBA still has their All-Star game and all that stuff, but if you did it like that, where it's like mid-season or close to the end before the playoffs hit, you have a bit more of a competitive game, play contact, make it worth it for the guys, make it in their contract where they have to do it, and if they do get hurt, they're going to be taken care of. I know the owners, the reason they don't do it is because the owners don't want to lose their assets for all this guaranteed money, and I guarantee you that's the reason. But at the end of the day, it's for the fans. You're playing for the kids. You're doing all this stuff, and like when you just think about the money, then it's what's the point anymore? Go on your gambling sites and gamble away. That's all it's about. No one gives a shit about the game anymore, man. It's just every ad you see is about the gambling, and it's just getting ridiculous. I'm pissed about it, and that's my rant. I'm done with it, but I'm just mad.
Do better is what he's saying.
100%.
All right, next we got the good, the bad, and the ugly. We did this one a little different. I didn't make it just about
certain teams
specific. I kind of
like it.
Made some little quotations in here. The good. Here we go. The stage is unmatched. The Super Bowl is still one of the games bigger than sport. You know, the build-up, the pressure, the legacy at stake. Every snap matters in a way no regular season or even a playoff game could ever matter. Elite coaching is a chess match. Now you're going to have this coach fighting against this coach, and they're going to be staring across at each other, eyes locked. Like, what's this guy doing next? You know, who's
still? I'm gonna stop you. I still love 2012 brother versus brother, man. That's still my favorite Super Bowls ever. That's still just one of the greatest rivalry games of just brother versus brother. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever, man.
And the lights went out.
Oh.
All right, and missed clock management, early decisions are magnified, and great coaches earn their reputation to be there. Super Bowls tend to crown icons, whether it be quarterback cementing a legacy or a role player becoming a household name. This game creates NFL history. To the bad, the game flow can be tight, maybe too tight sometimes. Teams play loose, not so loose, conservative play calling, fewer risks, long stretches, field position. Football can drain the excitement like that. Commercial overload. We're watching all these commercials. I like the commercials, but sometimes when you're in that midst of like a heated battle and you just want to be in there watching the game, And then we get that over analytic fatigue. You get the Tom Brady's and you get the guys out there that have been there a bunch of times and they're spitting out their own stats. And you get Michael Irvin talking about how great the Cowboys are, yada yada yada. On to the ugly, Michael Irvin. This we know to be true. One call can define everything.
Oh, yeah, man.
A missed holding call, a questionable PI, a crappy flag on a trick play from a 60-yard bomb that gets called back for no reason.
Defensive hold, I was barely touching a guy.
And that's what could ruin this game on so many stages. Legacy damage is real here. Quarterbacks and coaches are judged forever for this game. Cam Newton. Fair or not, one bad night can follow somebody for years. Cam Newton. I hope you're watching my podcast, Cam Newton. And the letdown factor. I haven't had to witness this in 23 years. But I tell you, watching your team lose a Super Bowl is the worst. I never got to watch my team win the Super Bowl yet, but I tell you, I was there. I got to watch them lose the Super Bowl. And we didn't just lose. Ooh, some of our players didn't even show up to the game. They just kept drinking.
Man, I'll tell you, I remember 2023, had a nice bottle of rum waiting for the Super Bowl victory. And I didn't crack that for a year because I was so upset. I
just sat in my cupboard.
I was so upset.
Didn't even take it home. It just sat in my cupboard. I was
so upset. Oh, and you want to talk about legacies, though? I seen this cool podcast video this week. It was Joe Burrow was on it. And he was asked a question. It was a pretty cool question they asked him. And it was, right now, would you rather this season be an all-star, win the Super Bowl, but you're done playing football forever, or you go back to back to back to back, 4 MVPs, but you lose the Super Bowl every year and you can keep playing football? And I loved his answer. He's like, so at the end of that 4th year, I can keep playing? So like, yeah. He's like, I bet on myself for the 5th year then. He's like, I'd rather have 4 MVPs, no Super Bowls, but knowing I can still play and try and grind and get that Super Bowl. He's like, I believe in myself that I'd be able to do it. Because he just wouldn't want one and be done.
Right.
I was like, that's cool. I like that.
I'd take a Joe Burrows any day of the week.
Oh man, if he had goddamn offensive line, he'd be a monster. I will live and die by that. He's such a good quarterback. He's clutch. He just absolutely gets hammered more than anybody else in the league, and it's tough to watch sometimes.
Next year he'll get a new coach. So.
I think so. We're rolling in, guys. Like I said, this wasn't going to be a crazy long episode. This is just going to be fun, exciting, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of talking. Super Bowl's coming up on Sunday. We know you're all watching it. Even if people say they're not watching it, they're watching it. It's football. It's going to be our last taste for a long time, so we're going to have to soak it in as much as we can get. Closing statement of the episode here. It's episode 26. Football ends for everybody eventually. Nobody can escape it. But the memories stay, the friendships stay, and the lessons stay. And I tell you, if you're still part of the game as a player, a coach, or a teammate, enjoy every rep, enjoy every meeting, enjoy every practice. Because one day, all you have left is the stories. We'll catch you back next week. As always, stay square.
Stay nasty.
Good luck in the Super Bowl. We'll see what happens.
Pick out your best commercials, because we're going to be talking about commercials next week.
I like it.